right along with the 2012 33rd Annual PVIL Coaches Association Banquet, live from San Antonio, Texas. I'm King Arthur Prather, now joined by the legendary Charlie Brown, state championship, Booker T. Washington, the Conroe area. Coach Brown, talk a little bit about what the PVIL means to you and how it has grown in leaps and bounds over the last 8 to 10 years.
Well, the PVIL, first the PVIL, what it means to me is that it brings back memories of the days when we were, as a people, had to hustle for what we got, and we were successful at it, but we never got recognition from the big media. Okay, now that's what the PVP, that's the basic thing. But now, what the PVIL means to me now is that our children and and all those that come on after, if we keep that message going, they will get a great lesson about how you can make it without any outside people. Just love your brother, work hard, and that's what it basically means to me. It sets an example for them.
Well, that's what we had basically felt good about being involved with the organization, because it goes to show just how good people can be when you create the right atmosphere. I joined this organization back in 1983 when we only had 25 members at the banquet. There was more than 800 here today.
Right, and more than 800. That's tremendous.
Yes, tremendous. And being a football coach and building and shaping the minds of young people back in your days coming up, this has to make you feel good knowing that you're honoring some of those coaches and some of those players who didn't get their just due.
And you know what impressed me now? I know you know what kind of coaches they were, and you know what kind of players they were because of the records they had. But I'm gonna tell you what, the way those young men presented themselves today, that's what I was really listening at. And they're talking progressive, and they're talking about passing it on, what we're responsible for as children of God. And then they're telling the people what we need to do to keep this thing going. That impressed me more than what they did as athletes, because it wasn't no big thing for us when you came along to win a football game. You know,
right. That was par for the course.
That was par for the course. In other words, get to the championship game and all like that. But to see these young men grow up, and because so many of them fall by the wayside. But I tell you what, I am proud to see these young men come back and talk about what their ancestors did for them, and it lets the people know, their children know, and their grandchildren know what their forefathers had to go through and how they paved the way for them.
Right, and I think somewhere down the line that get lost sometime. Our kids don't understand the value of what those coaches taught them. And what you all did on the football field was one thing, but what you did in the classroom and what you did when someone died, how you had to nourish those feelings and keep those emotions in place so that these people could grow up to be productive young people. And talking with Beverly, Beverly Day Humphreys, she talked about how Coach Jacket instilled in her that discipline was the key. And if you don't have discipline, you can't win. Have discipline. Without discipline, you can't even be successful.
No, you can't. You can't. And discipline, a lot of people look at discipline as thinking that we, as our people, were beating our kids and doing this. But our kids respected us so much in the past, required that respect, that you only had to set the rules to them. And if you broke it one time, when we got through with him that time, we didn't have to worry about it anymore.
Right.
So it wasn't the number thing. Now, in the classroom, was just as important to us as on the field.
Right.
Just as important. One wasn't more important than the other, because that athletics give him a chance to progress and mature, as well as getting an education. But we demanded that respect, and if a boy got in trouble with a teacher, they did not even take time to set time out like they do now. They would send him and says, okay, go see coach.
And coach took care of business.
And coach took care of business. Principal didn't have time to fool
And to me, coach, in closing, to me, that was a caring instinct that our coaches had, that our administrators had, not only on the high school level, but on the collegiate level as well.
Oh, yeah.
And as it turned out, To me, sometimes that's liking a little bit now.
It is.
At some of our predominantly black universities.
Yeah.
Let's face it, it's liking a little
It's
bit.
not.
The caring is not there. You cared about your kids.
Yes,
When one
sir.
got in trouble, you were there.
Yes,
Because
sir.
you wanted to make sure he done what you told him to do, and this didn't happen again.
Right.
Now it doesn't seem like they care anymore.
They don't care. They don't care. In other words, they don't seem to have. They looking for the here and now. We were looking for the here and the future.
Right. And that's
You understand
the key.
what I mean?
That's
what
the
it
key.
is. And I want to tell you this. You said we were about to close, but I want to mention this one thing. That when they brought in no pass, no play, we had it already.
Long before they did.
You sure did. But there are mighty few of them that missed the game on Friday night because they brought reports in daily, not on writing. Any vocal message that we got that things wasn't right, it got straightened right then.
It got dealt with. That's the key.
It got dealt with. And so we had no more pass, no play for the other people put it in.
Right.
They were talking about the paddle, but we wasn't using the paddle.
Right. It's just simple. If you didn't pass, you didn't play.
You didn't play.
It's just that simple. And people try to make it seem like that's complicated. But that was fairly simple, because I can remember the late Colin Briggs actually relieved the entire group of seniors on one team and went all the way through the playoffs with JV players.
Yeah.
The next year he went undefeated and won the state championship.
There you go.
Because he set the criteria. And Horace Robertson, some of those other guys will tell you, it taught them a lesson they'll never forget because it cost them a state championship.
Right.
But he was prepared to do that. And incidentally, I'm also pleased to know that he's going in the Hall of Fame, the Texas High Coaches Hall of
praise
Fame
the
this
Lord.
year.
Praise
So
the Lord.
finally, he's getting there as well.
He's getting there.
Coach, it is always a pleasure talking with you because you bring back such fond memories and you have such a true feeling for what high school coaching is all about. Even though you're not coaching anymore, your presence is still felt, and I look forward to visiting with you each year at these banquets.
I look forward to that too.
That's going to do it for the PVIL 23rd annual, or shall I say 33rd annual banquet, and live from San Antonio, Texas. I'm King Arthur Prather. You just heard from the legendary Charlie Brown. And we think when you roll this tape at collegesports.com with Mr. Jerry Woodley, we think you'll enjoy what you see.